What's up guys, Alberto Big Boost here. Today we're gonna be working on another upgrade to support the 2JC platform on the E36. So on a previous video I showed that the intake manifold has too much interference with the brake booster, so it doesn't fit. And I really want to run that really nice billet intake manifold. So I got the solution to this problem right here. The guys over at Chasebays sent me a really nice care package that's gonna help me fix this issue. Let's see what's inside. Let's see what we have in here. Chasebays sticker, of course. So this is one of the issues that I had. They make an extended clutch line. That's one piece that goes straight to the brake master, and it has a 45-degree fitting that goes to the clutch line. So I don't have the issue with the line hitting the transmission tunnel. Then here, this is a ABS delete. So this is gonna get rid of all the bulky ABS that I'm not using on my E36. This is a Chasebays power steering line. It's gonna enable you to run the 2JC power steering on the E36 rack in a very clean installation. Here, the most important part. We have the brake booster delete master. So Chasebays makes a really nice kit that bolts on to the factory pedal, has the right stuff to hook it up to the pedal as well, and they also make a line so you can connect the clutch master reservoir to the brake master reservoir even on an aftermarket application. I got the Chasebays little covers for the reservoirs, and then we have a Chasebays power steering reservoir. This one, I believe, is like triple baffle or something, so it keeps the fluid from coming out of the cab very nicely. Well, this is weird. I didn't know Chasebays make this. They sent me a Chick-fil-A honey thing packed in a Ziploc bag. What the?
Well, thank you.
It's pretty sweet, right?
Drink some honey.
These parts are pretty sweet. It's gonna put a little bit of honey in it, make it even sweeter. They haven't sent this really nice thing, so it shows you how everything goes installed. So it's like a nice thing for picture reference. All right, we're gonna start this underneath the car. Well, underneath the dashboard. First, let me take this Big Boost Energy steering wheel out so I have more room. Good thing I have a nice quick release. Makes working under here way nicer. So we're gonna be looking for the 4 bolts that are holding the brake pedal to the master, which seem to be these 4 bolts there, or 4 nuts holding the silver plate. We're also gonna remove this clip right here. So we're gonna go ahead and just like pull on this back. It should come off. Too hard. Guess I need a flathead screwdriver for this one. Alright, there we go. Now brake pedal's free. So let's go ahead and take those 4 nuts off now. Actually, let's go ahead and drain all the fluid first, because I almost made a mess or unnecessary mess without even realizing it. So if I take that off, then once I take the brake lines off, it'll just spill fluid everywhere. I'd rather just take the wheels off real quick, just gravity bleed all the fluid out. Then once I take this stuff out, it will be dry and will make much less of a mess. I open up the brake bleeder, so now we're just gonna let all the fluid bleed out. I have the other side too to speed up the process, and make sure to not drip that on the floor, just pick it up with something. We're gonna disconnect the brake master cylinder from the ABS and the ABS to the lines, I think. Or maybe we can just get away by just disconnecting the ABS to the chassis line, and then take the master cylinder and ABS pump all at once. So this I'm going to be using a flare wrench. So this is a brake line wrench style, so you see it has like almost like a close end with a little opening or line, so you don't strip them. So this one's gonna be 7/16. Then very easily it's gonna undo all these 3 lines here. There's one going to the back and one for each front tire. Before I remove the brake master, I'm gonna take off the line that goes to the slave cylinder. Then we're gonna use a 13mm socket with a long extension, and then get the 2 bolts that hold the master to the brake booster. There's also a 13mm nut holding the ABS pump down here. I think that's the only bolt holding it in actually. Everything else is like either not there or was previously removed, I don't know. Let's take this guy off and see if it all comes right out. Hopefully. I think it might actually. Don't need that. Yes.
And voila.
Man, this thing is heavy. Now that we took out all this front stuff, now we can go back inside the car and remove the 4 nuts holding the brake booster in place. In order to access all the bolts, I just took this off, just remove the spring from the little holder back here, and then you now have clearance for all the bolts. So I'm using pretty much this setup, 2 long extensions, and I can reach it all the way from back here. Very easy. All right, all 4 nuts in the ground. This stuff is all ready to pull out. Let's go outside, turn this off, and take this booster off. Probably gonna ask my lovely assistant to give me a hand with the camera. Sharon, will you do the honors? Should be able to just wiggle this thing right out. Yes. And no more brake booster. I don't know if I'm gonna miss this thing right now. I hope not. I've been looking for this opportunity to finally get rid of the this insulation stock stuff. It's just so ugly. So I'm gonna try to see how easy it is to just rip it out.
Alberto, can you make my hair fly? Wow!
It's time to install the new brake master. So let's go ahead and put this on. It's very simple. I went ahead and put some brute thread locker on the threads of these studs just in case. I just like to play it safe so they wouldn't wiggle out or get loose. We're gonna slide this. We gotta try to get this to land in the clutch pedal. So let's see if we can get lucky and can do that.
So this is the other side.
Yeah, I'm tying up the 4 nuts and then
What nuts?
these nuts. See, this is why I like her so much.
Okay, I think you
Alright,
don't know
I
what
have
social
a
distancing is.
model over here, but here's the whole factory brake setup. You have the brake booster, the brake master, and ABS pump. This thing weighs about, I don't know, probably 25-30 pounds. I'll probably weigh it later. And then we change it for this. It's like the smallest, most compact brake setup ever. And I forgot to tell you guys, but this comes included with a nice brake bias adjuster. Now the next step, I have to drill the reservoir to put this fitting on here. So this line is going to feed brake fluid from the reservoir onto the clutch master cylinder, which is through this hole right here. Make this tiny incision. This is that's the right size. Yep. Perfect. Now let's gonna see how easy it is to put this nut through the back side. I ended up having to shorten the rod on the master a little bit, maybe like a third of an inch, or maybe like half an inch or third of an inch, because I wasn't able to extend the pedal past this point because obviously it's touching against the brake switch. So I ended up cutting that to get that little bit of free play. So pretty much the only mod I had to do that. It was I was wondering why can't I get it in, so ended up cutting that and now it fits perfectly. I'm gonna ask the guys over at Chasebays if that's a thing that's probably adjusted in different cars. Yeah. So I'm gonna check with that. If not, I'm gonna just probably save you the trouble by watching this video and showing you how to properly mod the thing. This is the final product fitment. The last thing I did was to put the return spring on. Now we do have a little bit of free play, very important. You can see that the shaft just wiggles a little bit. That's what you want for free play. It is absolutely crucial to have a little bit of free play on the pedal, because if not, the master will not enter into the reset spot, so I will not return the fluid and will keep pressure on the pads at all times. This is the amount that I ended up cutting off from the clutch master rod in order to get enough free play for proper pedal operation. Starting to look super sweet. I'll come back tomorrow morning and install the front brake lines and the rear brake line part. Now we have to remove the hard lines from the wheel well. So you disconnect the soft line to the hard line, then we're gonna replace the entire hard line with the Chasebays kit. I'm going to line up the rear brake line, so this one goes to this one right here. Pretty simple. The only thing I have to find out a way to secure the line onto something. So once I figure that out later, it'll be a lot easier. Then the other side pretty much just goes into this here. The rear line is gonna go on the outlet of the brake bias, and then the front ones are gonna go to the little T, obviously left to left and right to right. But I gotta figure out how to way to mount this to something so it doesn't accidentally hit the steering shaft. Now we're going to install the passenger side brake line. This is the passenger front. Here is the brake line all tightened up. This is pretty much how I want it to look. Also no interference with anything over here. Then I secure the line with the stock line bracket right through this, and it comes over there so it won't hit the tire at all. Don't worry guys, I know my brake rotors are hideous, but those are also getting replaced. I'm just waiting for them to show up. Then this is what the passenger side looks like. Alright, more goodies for the E36 arrived, but first I gotta eat some delicious pizza. Yes. You know, I got a couple boxes that arrived for the E36. I said I needed to do something about these crusty brakes, so today we're gonna change that. Let's go ahead and take the wheels off. We need to remove this guy from here. Put up a big fight. We don't want to get out. Definitely gonna have to put some Permatec anti-seize on the hub ring here so it doesn't get stuck anymore. I'm going to remove the caliper slider off first. These are held by 7mm Allen bolts. There's 2 of them. And then after that, I'm gonna lock the caliper and remove this. I believe this one says 6. In order to remove this bolt holding the rotor into the hub, I need to somehow stop the rotor from turning. So I'm gonna use a flathead screwdriver and just lock it like this. I'm able to remove this thing and free up the brake rotor. The rears are 16mm bolts. It's 2 of these, and it comes right out. I did not expect that to happen. You guys are not ready for these. These are the coolest brake rotors, and the box is still not open yet. Got 2 more tapes to cut. There we go. Back to it. Da, 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 da. And we got our cardboard face. Aha! Yes. Ultramax by EBC. I always wanted to run these guys on my car. Before I put my rotors on, I'm gonna hit up the hub with a little bit of Permatex copper anti-seize lubricant, so my wheel spacer doesn't get stuck like it did before. It's gonna apply a thin layer all the way around this, and that should probably help it from getting stuck again or rusting. Now we reinstall the rotor, so obviously right goes on the right side. And then we reinstall the little screw that holds it in place. Notice how nice it is that I applied the Permatex anti-seize lubricant before putting on the rotor, so I didn't get any on the face of the rotor. Except I just put a little bit with my thumb right here. Great. Another really cool thing about these rotors is that you do not need to brake clean any lubricant off from them, so they're literally ready to go. And when you get EBC brake pads, they have a braking surface that just scratches this little coating off, and you don't have like weird braking or anything during the braking period. Hey, is this something really cool? Check out, my brake rotors are like a fidget spinner. Are these like nice bearings or what? This will do so good in drag racing, like very dragless. It's time to start making this look Wallberry style. Next step, before we install the pads, we're gonna apply a little bit of Permatex Ceramic Extreme Brake Parts lubricant. Another cool thing about this is that it's purple. So I could put a little bit of excess if I wanted to, and you can't even tell, right? You're gonna put a little bit where the brake pads slide on all 4 corners, and that's it. Next, we install the brake pad. I'm going to be running EBC yellow stuff brake pads on my setup. So I want this thing to brake. I just realized I did the dumbest mistake ever. This pad goes over here. I have no idea why I put it in the back. Then the back pads go with these little 3 clips back here, so it snaps into the piston. Then we literally just slide everything in like this. Then I cleaned up the sliders and applied some grease on that as well. And the finishing touch is the metal retainer. I'm gonna put this on without scratching the paint. There we go. I must say this color combination looks really weird. It's like purple, yellow, black, brown. Does it look like more race car setup now? Proper brakes, super long studs, and cool rotors. Still spins. Ended up staying and did the rear. Yep, so the rear's done, ready to go. The only thing left is just to bleed the braking system. At least I have working e-brakes since I did not have to disconnect the caliper. But I guess we'll be doing that tomorrow night. Hopefully I'll have some time.